I never considered myself particularly adventurous when it came to fashion, or anything remotely feminine. My wardrobe consisted of the usual jeans, t-shirts, and hoodies, and I liked it that way. Comfort, simplicity, and anonymity were my best friends. But that all began to change the evening Emma handed me a small, silky package with a mischievous glint in her eye. Emma and I had been together for 3 years. Our relationship was stable, fun, and deeply trusting. She was fearless, outgoing, and playful, the kind of person who loved pushing boundaries just to see how people would react. I admired her confidence, and part of me longed to emulate it, even in the smallest ways. But nothing in my imagination could have prepared me for the challenge she proposed that night. "I dare you," she said, tilting her head, "to try these. Just once. You'll see what I mean." The package contained a pair of black, sheer stockings. Thin as gossamer, soft to the touch, and undeniably elegant. I held them in my hands, turning them over, feeling the tension between curiosity and embarrassment coil inside me. "Stockings?" I asked cautiously, my voice betraying a mixture of apprehension and intrigue. Emma nodded, her smile teasing, almost predatory.
"Yes.
"Stockings.
On you.
Tonight. Just to see how it feels." I laughed nervously, shifting my weight from one foot to the other. "You're insane." "I can't. I mean, that's feminine, right? I don't know if I—" "You'll look amazing," she interrupted, placing the package in my lap. "Trust me." And besides, her eyes sparkled with that irresistible mix of charm and challenge. "If you don't, you'll regret it. Forever." The stakes were set. It was that simple. Emma had a way of framing things so that the impossible seemed inevitable, and I found myself agreeing before I even knew why. "Okay," I muttered, almost reluctantly. "I'll try, but just for tonight." That's how it began, the night that would change everything. The apartment was quiet, cozy, dimly lit by the warm glow of the living room lamps. Rain tapped gently against the window, adding a soft rhythm to the tension that hummed between us. Emma disappeared into the bedroom, leaving me alone with the package, my pulse quickening. I unwrapped the stockings, feeling their texture glide across my fingers, the delicate fibers teasing my nerves. As I contemplated my reflection in the mirror, a mixture of excitement and fear churned inside me. What would it feel like, slipping these onto my legs, letting them cling to skin that had never known this sensation? My mind raced with questions, insecurities, and the faint thrill of forbidden experimentation. I knew deep down that this wasn't just about stockings. It was about crossing a line I hadn't even realized existed. It was about exploring a side of myself that had remained hidden, locked away behind the comfort of casual clothing and routine. And in that moment, I felt a spark of rebellion, a thrill that sent shivers down my spine. Emma returned, holding a pair of heels in her hands, black, sleek, and impossibly high. "If we're doing this, we're going all in," she said with a grin. My stomach twisted, part excitement, part terror. Heels? Really? My mind screamed at me to stop, to retreat, but my hands, almost of their own accord, began to unroll the stockings along my legs. The sensation was surreal. Silk against skin, hugging every contour, delicate yet firm. My body reacted in ways I didn't expect, an odd mixture of vulnerability, pleasure, and a strange sense of power. Emma's eyes watched every movement, appraising, teasing, encouraging. "You're gorgeous," she whispered, leaning close, her breath warm against my ear. "I can't wait to see the full transformation." And then came the shoes. Sliding my feet into the heels, I teetered, unsteady at first. Every step made me hyper-aware of my body, my posture, my reflection in the mirror. I caught glimpses of myself, the soft sheen of stockings, the subtle elegance of my legs, the unnatural yet thrilling sway in my hips. It was intoxicating. I could hardly believe it was me. I looked at Emma, half expecting laughter or ridicule. Instead, she clapped softly, her eyes alight with admiration. "You're a natural," she said. "Better than I imagined. But remember, tonight isn't just about looking the part. It's about feeling it, embracing it." Her words were both an invitation and a warning. And in that moment, I realized that I was no longer just trying on stockings. I was stepping into a world I had only glimpsed from the sidelines, a world of transformation, vulnerability, and thrilling exposure. The rain continued to patter against the window, the apartment cloaked in shadows and anticipation. I could feel the night stretching ahead of me, every second filled with potential for discovery, embarrassment, or ecstasy. Emma's presence was intoxicating, grounding yet electrifying, and I knew that whatever happened next, nothing would ever be the same. I had agreed to try stockings, but as I took another step in the heels, feeling the subtle power and danger of my own reflection, I understood, in a quiet, thrilling way, that I might never be able to go back. The night had begun, and with it, a journey that would challenge my fears, awaken hidden desires, and test the boundaries of my identity. After that first tentative step in the heels, the apartment seemed transformed. Shadows lengthened in corners I had never noticed, the dim light reflecting off the wet pavement outside, painting strange patterns on the walls. I felt exposed, vulnerable, but strangely exhilarated. Emma sat on the couch, watching me with an intensity that made my heart race. Her eyes weren't just admiring, they were assessing, evaluating, pushing me further than I had expected. "You know," she said, tilting her head, "most guys don't dare go this far. But you," she let the words linger, letting the tension build. "You might actually enjoy it." I swallowed hard. The heels made every movement a careful balancing act. My muscles tensed with every step, my legs trembling with unfamiliar awareness. It was one thing to put on the stockings. It was another entirely to feel my body respond to them, to the rhythm of the heels, to the gaze of Emma. I don't know if I can," I began, voice faltering, but Emma's hand on my shoulder stopped me. "Yes, you can," she said softly, yet firmly. "That's why we're doing this. Trust me." Her confidence was contagious. Despite my nerves, I felt a spark of rebellion. I could hear a little voice inside me whispering, "What's the worst that could happen?" That voice pushed me forward, closer to the mirror, where I caught sight of myself. The reflection was different. More than just the stockings or the heels. There was a shift in my posture, the way I held my head, the subtle curve of my hips as I adjusted my stance. I barely recognized the person looking back at me, yet there was something intoxicating in the recognition. A part of me wanted to explore this side, wanted to linger in it, even if only for tonight. Emma clapped softly. "Look at you. Every man should see how beautiful they could be like this." Her words made me blush, but they also fueled a growing sense of curiosity. She handed me a small makeup bag, the contents gleaming under the soft light. Lip gloss, mascara, eyeliner, each item seemed alien and thrilling at once. My hands shook slightly as I picked up the gloss, applying it to my lips. The taste was sweet, the sensation surreal. I looked at Emma for approval. "Perfect," she said, her smile teasing but encouraging. "Now the eyes." I practiced trembling strokes along my lash line, mascara coating each eyelash. The mirror reflected a new persona, a delicate, feminine version of myself that seemed almost too real to be temporary. And yet, with every brushstroke, with every adjustment of stockings and heels, I felt it solidify. I was becoming this version of me, even if I didn't fully understand why I was enjoying it so much. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time seemed distorted as I continued my transformation under Emma's watchful gaze. The more I looked at myself, the more my anxiety mingled with exhilaration. Could I really go out like this? Could anyone see me? The very thought made my pulse quicken, a delicious tension gripping my chest. Emma's voice broke through my spiraling thoughts. "You need to walk around.
Get a feel for it.
Show me you can carry yourself." I took a deep breath, taking careful steps across the apartment. Every sway of my hips, every unsteady adjustment of the heels made me hyper-aware of my body, my reflection, and the new persona I was inhabiting. Emma followed, clapping, coaching, teasing.
Yes.
"That's it. Own it. With each stride, I felt a mix of shame and pride. I was embarrassed by how much I was enjoying this, but I couldn't deny the thrill, the surge of confidence, the strange empowerment coursing through me. The apartment became my runway, my personal stage where I could explore a forbidden side of myself under Emma's approving gaze. But suspense lingered. Every creak of the floorboards, every distant sound outside made me jump. The idea that someone could walk in at any moment added a tension that heightened my senses. The thrill wasn't just in wearing the stockings or the heels, it was in the secret, the danger of being caught in a way I had never imagined. Then came the challenge Emma had been hinting at all along, the mirror. She guided me to a full-length mirror, her hands steadying mine. "Look at yourself. Really look." I did. And I saw two versions of me, the familiar, everyday man I had always been, and the new, delicate, feminine version that had emerged through stockings, heels, and makeup. The duality was dizzying. I felt both powerful and vulnerable, exposed and enthralled. Emma circled me, pointing out details. "The way your legs curve, the tilt of your head, it's natural. You're a natural." Her words made me shiver, a blend of excitement and fear. Then came the proposition that truly set my heart racing. "Tonight," she said softly, "you're going to stay like this. See how it feels. Just for a few hours. But if you do well, maybe we can make this a little longer." The thrill and terror collided. Stay like this? Alone? With the outside world potentially glimpsing this new persona? My chest tightened, and a shiver ran down my spine. And yet, I wanted it. I wanted to see how far I could go, how deep this rabbit hole could take me. As I adjusted the heels for what felt like the 100th time, Emma handed me a delicate bracelet. "This is your anchor," she said. "If you feel nervous, if you feel exposed, touch it. Remember that I'm here. And remember you agreed." Her words echoed in my mind as I looked at my reflection again. I was no longer just experimenting. I was immersed, transformed, teetering between fear and fascination. Hours of walking, posing, adjusting, and teasing passed. I had grown more confident, yet every sound, every flicker of the hallway light reminded me of the stakes. My internal struggle intensified. I loved this new persona, but I was terrified of being caught. What if someone rang the doorbell? What if Emma left for a moment, and I was alone in this unfamiliar identity? Emma's encouragement continued, playful yet commanding.
Yes.
"That's it. You're doing amazing. Look at you. I can't believe how natural this is for you." Her praise filled me with pride, but also heightened the suspense. Every cheer, every touch of approval reminded me of how exposed I was, how easily the illusion could crumble. And then a knock on the door. My heart stopped. Emma's eyes widened, a mischievous glint replacing the concern. "Go answer it if you dare," she whispered. I froze, stockings tight on my legs, heels precarious under my feet, makeup freshly applied. The knock repeated, urgent. My pulse thundered, adrenaline flooding every nerve. This was the real test, the line between thrill and panic. The suspense was palpable. Taking a deep breath, I crossed the room, each step a delicate negotiation between fear and daring. My reflection in the hallway mirror caught my eye. Me, but not me. Someone else. And yet, undeniably me. I reached the door, hand trembling, ready to confront the unknown, fully aware that the next few moments could change everything. The knock at the door echoed in my chest like a drumbeat of impending doom. My hand hovered over the handle, heart racing, legs trembling in the unfamiliar heels. Emma's mischievous smile burned in my mind, daring me to face the unknown, daring me to fully embrace this persona. I swallowed hard, took a deep breath, and opened the door, slowly, cautiously, every muscle alert. Standing there was my neighbor, Mrs. Collins. She had that knowing smile that made my stomach twist.
"Oh."
"I didn't mean to startle you," she said, eyes darting down at my legs, my heels, my fully transformed appearance. My mind raced. Did she already know? Could she see through the disguise I had so carefully nurtured in private? Emma's voice whispered behind me, teasing, "Say hello." I forced a shaky smile. Hi, Mrs. Collins." My voice sounded too high, too delicate even to me. The moment felt surreal. My reflection in the hallway mirror showed a version of me that was no longer recognizable. Mrs. Collins' gaze lingered, curious, but not judgmental. "I just came to borrow some sugar," she said, holding up her measuring cup as if it were a peace offering. I exhaled slightly, relief washing over me. But the tension didn't fully release. What if she stayed longer? What if someone else arrived? Emma nudged me from behind. "Invite her in. Let's see how you handle this." I swallowed again, feeling the stockings tighten around my legs, the heels digging into my feet. Each step toward the living room was a delicate balance between confidence and terror. Mrs. Collins followed, chatty and oblivious to the storm raging inside me. My mind raced with thoughts of being exposed, of every secret unraveling in an instant. But then, something unexpected happened. As I poured the sugar, I caught my reflection in the kitchen window. My posture, my gestures, even my nervous movements had started to mimic feminine grace, without conscious effort. Emma's teasing guidance, the hours of transformation, the thrill of being watched, they had reshaped me. I wasn't just performing, I was becoming. Mrs. Collins commented on the heels. "Those are quite daring, aren't they?" I froze, unsure how much to admit. Emma's voice whispered in my ear again, light and teasing. "Own it." I straightened, lifted my chin, and said, "Yes, I'm experimenting, trying something new." My voice sounded stronger now, confident despite the vulnerability. The words surprised me. Not just her, but myself. The next hour was a delicate dance. Mrs. Collins lingered, asking questions, complimenting my appearance, oblivious to the inner turmoil that churned within me. Every compliment was a double-edged sword, validation and exposure intertwined. I laughed when appropriate, blushed when necessary, and felt the thrill of balancing this dual identity on a knife edge. But just when I began to feel a fragile sense of control, a louder, sharper knock echoed through the apartment. My blood ran cold. Emma stiffened, eyes flashing with equal parts excitement and warning. "It's probably just the delivery," she whispered. But even as she said it, I could feel the suspense building. The unknown was pressing in, testing every ounce of composure I had left. I tiptoed to the door, heels clicking on the hardwood floor. Peering through the peephole, my worst fear materialized. My best friend, Alex, grinning from the hallway. "Hey." "Thought I'd drop by unannounced," he said, voice casual, unaware of the chaos about to unfold. Emma's hand clamped down on my shoulder. "Stay calm," she hissed.
"Don't panic.
"Just act normal. Act normal." The words echoed in my mind like a cruel joke. Was this even possible in heels, stockings, and full makeup? My pulse thundered in my ears as Alex stepped inside, eyes immediately noticing something. He raised an eyebrow, cocked his head.
Oh, wow.
"You look different." The panic surged. I could feel my carefully crafted persona fraying at the edges. My legs shook, the heels slipping slightly as I tried to steady myself. Emma stepped forward, playful yet protective, guiding me subtly behind her. "It's just a little experiment," she said lightly, masking the tension with her natural charm. But Alex wasn't so easily placated. "Experiment, huh? With stockings and heels?" His gaze flicked between my legs, my posture, my face. The words hit me like a jolt of electricity. My secret, my carefully hidden self, was dangling on the edge of exposure. Every instinct screamed to flee, to hide, to shed this new identity instantly. But the thrill, the rush of suspense, the intoxicating sense of transformation held me frozen. Could I maintain composure? Could I survive this confrontation without collapsing into embarrassment? Emma whispered, "Breathe.
Smile.
Play along." I took a deep, shuddering breath. The next words felt surreal as they left my lips. "Yeah, I wanted to try something new. It's fun, actually." My voice, soft but unwavering, mirrored my internal metamorphosis. I was no longer entirely the man who had started this night. I was the reflection in the mirror, the persona forged in stockings and heels, and I was beginning to embrace it. Alex laughed, a mix of surprise and amusement. Okay, wow. Didn't see that coming. You pull it off, actually. Relief washed over me, mingled with disbelief. The tension ebbed slightly, but the suspense remained. Alex's presence, the potential for neighbors or anyone else to walk in at any moment, and the knowledge that I was fully inhabiting this identity, vulnerable yet exhilarated. Hours passed like a delicate dance. Every movement, every word, every glance was charged with suspense. Emma watched, guiding and teasing, but also protecting me from fully unraveling. The night became a trial of endurance, of confidence, of embracing a part of myself I had never dared to explore so openly. And then came the symbolic moment. While reaching for a cup, my heel caught the edge of the rug, sending me stumbling forward. Time slowed. The stockings ripped slightly, the balance threatened, and for a heartbeat, I felt exposed, fragile, human. Emma's hand caught mine, steadying me instantly.
See?
Perfect imperfection, she whispered, smiling. This is the thrill. This is real. I stared at the mirror again, noting the reflection, slightly imperfect, incredibly human, and undeniably me. The duality, the fear and the thrill, the embarrassment and exhilaration, coalesced into a moment I would never forget. But suspense lingered. The night wasn't over. The knocks, the potential visitors, the unpredictability of the world outside, everything reminded me that this wasn't just a playful experiment anymore. I had stepped into a new persona, and the consequences, thrilling and terrifying, were only beginning. Emma leaned close, whispering, "Tomorrow, we see how far this can go. But tonight you survived. You're ready." And just as relief and exhilaration washed over me, the unmistakable sound of the elevator dinging on our floor reminded me someone else was coming. Someone who didn't know the experiment, who might not be so understanding. My heart raced, my body tense, and I realized the climax was far from over. Every lesson in confidence, every step taken in stockings and heels, was about to face its ultimate test. The elevator doors creaked open, slow and deliberate, as if savoring the suspense. My heart pounded in sync with the metallic groan, every beat echoing in my chest like a warning drum. Emma's hand tightened around mine, grounding me, yet amplifying the tension. My reflection in the nearby mirror caught my eyes, wide, shimmering with fear and exhilaration, and the stockings clinging to my legs felt tighter, almost constricting, as if reminding me of the trap I had willingly stepped into. A shadow appeared in the doorway. I barely breathed, frozen in place, heels pressing into the floor. The newcomer stepped in fully, and my stomach dropped. It was our landlord, Mr. Thompson. Usually polite, unassuming, and utterly predictable, but tonight, he was an unknown variable. "Evening," he said casually, as if nothing unusual was happening. His eyes, however, lingered. They scanned the room, flipped to my legs, and then paused. I felt the heat rise in my cheeks. Could he see through the experiment? Could he tell that I was no longer just me, that I had become someone entirely different for the night? Emma, ever the instigator, whispered, "Just smile. Be charming." I nodded, forcing a delicate curve of my lips into a polite grin. My voice came out lighter than usual, smooth and feminine. "Hi, Mr. Thompson. Just experimenting with fashion." He raised an eyebrow but didn't comment further, which only increased the suspense. My mind raced, calculating every possible escape, every potential explanation, every possible embarrassment. My legs trembled in the heels. The stockings seemed to hum with anticipation, tight over my calves, reminding me of the duality I now carried, the thrill of transformation and the terror of discovery. As he chatted briefly about mundane apartment matters, every word felt amplified, every gesture magnified. Each tick of the clock was a countdown toward either triumph or catastrophe. I noticed Emma's eyes gleaming, her grin playful, yet loaded with warning. She was enjoying this, the suspense, the drama, the power she had over my dual existence. Just when I thought I could breathe, the doorbell rang. Another visitor. Panic surged through me. Who could it be? A neighbor? A friend of Emma's? Someone who might not understand. Someone who could shatter the delicate facade I had built in stockings and heels? Emma squeezed my hand. You've got this. Just one step at a time. I forced a nod, but my mind screamed otherwise. I had survived Mrs. Collins, Alex, and even Mr. Thompson. But now, with the unknown pressing on the threshold, I realized the game had only just begun. My body stiffened as I took one careful step toward the door, every muscle taut, every breath shallow. Through the peephole, I could see a silhouette, tall, imposing, moving closer. My heart lurched. I couldn't see the face clearly, but I could sense judgment, scrutiny, potential exposure. My palms were sweaty, my stockings clinging to me uncomfortably, and I felt both fragile and electrifyingly alive. Emma leaned close, whispering, "No matter what happens, remember tonight. You're braver than you think." Her words grounded me, yet didn't calm the storm inside. I took a trembling breath, placed my hand on the doorknob, and froze. The shadow stepped forward. The door creaked slightly under my hand. My reflection in the hallway mirror met mine. Two versions of me. One, the man I had been. The other, the transformation in full glory, dressed, confident, and terrified. I opened the door. And there, in the frame, stood someone I never expected. Someone who could change everything. Someone who might expose or embrace this new identity. Their eyes locked on mine, and time seemed to freeze. The sound of the doorknob turning echoed like a countdown to revelation. My stomach lurched. My legs quivered in the heels. The stockings felt impossibly tight, a symbolic chain that reminded me of the choice I had made and the unknown consequences that awaited. Emma whispered, almost gleefully, "Now, let's see what you're made of." I realized then that tonight was more than an experiment. It was a test of identity, courage, and desire. And whatever happened next, whether triumph, humiliation, or something entirely unexpected, would leave me changed forever. The door creaked fully open. My heart skipped. The suspense, the fear, the exhilaration, all of it boiled into a single, dizzying moment. And then the screen cuts to black.